Is the Abuela in Encanto a narcissist? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, I'm McGann, and welcome to the Fangirl, where I care way too much about the mental states of fictional characters, and today is no exception. Now, if you have not seen Encanto, go do that now. Other than saying it's about a magical, close-knit Hispanic family, I can't really get into enough depth for you to understand why Abuela's behavior sticks out so much. But I can go over Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Narcissism is something that has become more popular to talk about in recent years, but it's often done in such a superficial way that it's hard to understand. For years, I always thought that a narcissist was someone who looked at themselves in the mirror just kissing at it. But no, even though a lot of narcissists do have this outer layer of being really into themselves or, striving to look perfect, that's a shell to mask the fact that they don't really like themselves. So, if you criticize or even tease a narcissist, you are likely to cause them a narcissistic injury. And that's where the narcissist will be offended, but never let you know it. So instead of resolving the problem like a healthy person would, they are now working to passively aggressively punish you for as long as you know that person. Seriously, I had one that for 18 years was holding a grudge and even tried to get revenge against me, and I had no idea what I had done. So oftentimes a narcissist will punish someone by playing mind games that can be deeply scarring for the other person, who often has no idea what they even did to upset that narcissist. So let's say you're dating someone who's a narcissist, and that narc spends 24/7 just idealizing you and saying how perfect you are. But eventually you're going to have some normal human issue that you need to talk to that narcissist about. Well, the narcissist might feel like you're challenging them or disrespecting them, which in turn makes them mad. So then, while acting like everything is fine to your face, suddenly the narcissist isn't calling you perfect. Now they start saying that everything you are, everything you like is bad until you start to feel bad about yourself. So you go from being idealized to devalued. And a lot of people don't get that this is a problem that the narcissist is having. Like, this is all made up in their head. So the other person ends up feeling like they've done something wrong, even though they'll never understand what, because the narcissistic injury may be as small as you sneezed while I was talking. So that other person who's been made to get addictive off of the positive attention that a narcissist was throwing at them is now going to work very hard to repair that relationship and make the narcissist like them again. But nothing works. The harder you work to fix things, the more you end up feeding the narcissist's ego, which they love. So you will never go back to being that perfect angel that they lavish with attention again. Now, every so often, the narcissist might throw some more positive attention your way, but it's only the bare minimum that they have to do so that you don't give up and completely leave them. They want to keep you there, feeding their ego by getting you to jump through their hoops. And unfortunately, that also plays into something called intermittent reinforcement, where if a person is getting a reward, like being praised, but it's not coming consistently, it's coming at very random times, then that person is going to work a lot harder to try and earn that praise. And the only reason that they're working that hard is that it comes sometimes, but it's so random that our brains are trying to figure it out and get the pattern down, but there's no pattern. The only pattern is, how can we torment you? And when a narcissist has taken everything from you, or they get bored, or they find someone else, they just throw you away because they never actually had any legitimate feelings for you. They were a parasite the entire time and you didn't even know it. And there is something similar to that in Encanto, where Antonio would have been born shortly after the time that Mirabel's door dissolved. So now Grandma has some new child to lavish praise and attention on, while Mirabel can just sit in the shadows. She doesn't matter anymore. She's a blight on the family. Truly, narcissists are often the kind of damage that ends up damaging other people. And a lot of times, they really don't care who they hurt or how their manipulation impacts others, because essentially, they just exist to get people to feed into their ego and make their own fragile selves feel better. But because they disguise their abuse as love, they often hurt people who already have a history of trauma and who who are desperate to feel loved and accepted and wanted. So a narcissist isn't going to hurt somebody who's already strong because they're going to see the crazy behavior and go, no, I want no part of that. A narcissist is really going to hurt somebody who already has cracks within themselves, kind of like Mirabel. Now, I've been talking about romantic relationships, but a lot of that dynamic can also apply to families as well. In fact, in many families where the figurehead is a narcissist, they will take their children and make one a scapegoat and one the golden child. The scapegoat can never do anything right. Ever. They are the entire source of misery and shortcomings for their family. Think of Meg in Family Guy, where hating on her and ignoring everyone else's faults is literally what keeps that family together. And then there's the golden child who is put on a pedestal and can do nothing wrong. Even if they end up in jail for manslaughter, it's somehow not their fault. And the golden child gets idealized, but they do not live a very wonderful life either. They often end up getting buried under pressures and expectations, and their own mental health ends up suffering. And if you listen to the song, The Family Madrigal, it is interesting that Isabella gets dubbed the perfect golden child, because that terminology is flat out from narcissistic parenting issues. To be clear though, I do not see Julieta or her husband as narcissists. They love their children, they don't invalidate their feelings, but Abuela? Well, she all but sneers at Mirabel when she sees her. She won't say, "You're not worthy of my affection," but she's definitely giving off that vibe. And Abuela takes her biggest source of pride in being the savior of the village, and her family is blessed and burdened to live every single day in servitude. But Granny doesn't have any powers of her own, so hey, the farmers need rain? Peppa, get out there and make some rain. Someone got injured? Julieta, make your cheesy tortilla things. Are you nervous about the future? Bruno, make everyone happy. And then that mentality was pushed forward onto the grandchildren. And it's not like the grandchildren grew up and decided, yes, I want to live a life of public service. I mean, from the time they're about 7 years old, they're put in the public eye and made to do endless acts of service. No days off, no time to rest, no boundaries for themselves. And we can definitely see a narcissistic style of payoff for Abuela because she demands her family gives and gives and gives so that she, as the matriarch of the household, gets the most praise and attention. And then everyone is coming to her home to kind of kiss the ring to see her grandson get his gift and her granddaughter get engaged. So Abuela gets to feel like a celebrity when she's really just an overbearing stage mom. So yeah, Abuela has some major narcissistic tendencies, and she may have enough to even qualify as someone who has narcissistic personality disorder. However, the end of the movie does make it a bit more complicated. The thing about narcissists is that they're not born, they're made, and whether or not they can be unmade is up for debate. However, in Encanto, Abuela talks about and processes some of her past traumas, realizes that she's been awful to her family, and then she's suddenly emotionally available for growth, change, and love for Mirabel. It's a nice ending. It makes us feel all warm and fuzzy, but I would like to warn you all though that these fairy tale endings where someone who's hurt you for years suddenly realizes it and changes is not normal, and that does not realistically happen all that often. Most narcissists lack the capacity to become self-aware, which means they will never see the problems in their behavior, they will never change, and you will only drain and harm yourself by waiting around or trying to make your relationship better. So remember, it's not your job to fix anyone. They have to do that hard work for themselves, and you should not wait around for any changes. No matter who the narcissists in your life are, just cut them out. Go about your life and live in a toxicity-free environment. But before the narcs jump in the comments and freak out, let me also clarify that yes, there is potential for a narcissist to change, but they have to want to change, go to therapy to change, and be honest with themselves and the therapist to get anything accomplished. A lot of narcissists go to therapy just for show, and then they end up manipulating the therapist by telling them lies and half-truths to where they're like, no, you couldn't possibly be a narcissist narcissist. So just because a narcissist is getting help and going to therapy does not mean that they're going to change. You have to see consistent changed behaviors where they will acknowledge what they've done to you and that it hurt you and that they're going to be committed to not doing that again before you ever consider giving anybody another chance. And if that person is not a blood relative that you absolutely have to deal with, if it's somebody that you've dated before or you divorced before, then I would say never give them another chance. Just cut that rope loose and go get your revenge by living a happily ever after without them. It's funny, a couple years ago when I talked about Mother Gothel, I had so many narcissists jump in the comments and get angry and offended and upset at what I was saying. But it's like, dude, if you are harming people, if you are victimizing people, if you are causing damage and trauma to other people, then I don't feel bad for you. I don't care what your excuses are. If you are so damaged that you are damaging other people, you need to realize that and get help. That is not for me to fix for you. I love you guys. Stay safe. And I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job. Don't be upset or mad at all. Don't feel regret or bad at all. Hey, I'm still a part of the family, Madrigal, and I'm fine. I am totally fine. I will watch on the side as you shine. I'm not fine. I'm not fine. I can't move the mountains. I can't make the flowers bloom. I can't take another night up in my room waiting for a miracle. Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that? Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.